buying a house is one of the most expensive endeavors you could take. It's a huge financial decision. And I'm asked, by first-time home buyers and by my empty nester clients about buying and selling a house and the finances and some of the things that you have to go through to get this done, that I figured, why not get a real live residential real estate realtor here. So my name is Mitch Goldberg. If we haven't met yet, I am a financial advisor with the wealth management firm Client First Strategy. I am joined by a very good friend of mine, Peter Hirschhorn. We've known each other for about 15 years. He's a real good guy, a real sweet person, a real smart person. And he is a very successful realtor in the residential real estate market.
The first thing you want to do is you want to get a pre-approval.
What's a pre-approval?
Pre-approval is where you speak with a mortgage person and you give them all your financials. They run your credit score. They look to see exactly what you can afford. And I tell my clients very, very openly, you don't necessarily want to spend what they say that you're approved for. So I say, you got to figure out what your monthly budget is and kind of back into it. Say, well, what do I want to pay for my mortgage, my interest, my taxes, my insurance? It's a term called PITI, P-I-T-I, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And you want to see exactly what's your number that you can afford, that you're comfortable with, and then you back into that number. So let's say that you're approved for $600,000, but your PITI, I'm just making up a random number, it might be, I don't know, $4,000 a month. You might say, I only want to do $3,000 a month or $3,500 a month. You tell your mortgage person, well, this is what I can afford, and let them back in and then tell you what you can afford. Okay. What we do in my team is we bring in the buyer and their participants, whether it's their significant other, their friends, their family, whatever, who's going to be involved in the process. And we do an intake meeting in my office. And we spend about an hour and a half, more or less if they need it. And we go over what their wish list is, their must-haves, the would-be nices, the I don't care abouts. And we really get very, very granular and focused on their needs. It's not a process of selection. It's a process of elimination.
I like that.
If we find a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home in, a multiple towns, we might find 30, 40 homes. But when I actually get their information of their wish list and the must-haves and so on, we can then whittle it down to maybe 5, 6, 7 homes. And when we show them those homes, there's a high probability that one of those homes will be the one that they want. For specific school districts, they're being close to family, being close to transportation, being close to something, a religious location. So there's a multitude of things.
And then you have to see what you're willing to sacrifice. If you're only willing to spend a certain amount, well, maybe you've just moved your commute from 40 minutes into Manhattan to an hour and a half. But you have to do what you have to do.
We use the term we will never let them settle, but we will let them compromise. So if they say,
they won't let you settle.
Yeah, I won't allow a client to settle.
I love that.
Because then you're not doing right by the client. In
my mind, it's a boomer who's selling because their kids are out of the house, and it's a millennial who's buying their first home because they want to start a family, or they have 1 or 2 kids, but now they need the house, they're running out of room, and they want to make sure they get into the good school district or get out of the city or what have you.
Yeah, so kind of yes, but mostly no. There are so many, everyone's buying and selling right now. So, for instance, when unfortunately, mom or dad passed, there's an estate. So we help a lot of people with estates selling their homes.
Is that because more people are aging in place?
What's if you notice what's happening is a lot of people are now going into senior living facilities. What was happening in the past is most of the people that were retiring were moving out of state and what they were doing is they were taking all their money with them. So, New York.
That drives me crazy because New York is such a high tax state.
Right.
And then people get their pensions and their assets, and then they're going to North Carolina or Florida, and we lose that.
Well, I deal a lot with law enforcement. I deal a lot with military, and different industries that they're looking for sometimes the pension friendly states. So they will move to other states. But what was happening was I think people were realizing that people were moving to Florida, to Arizona, to the Carolinas, and they were taking all their money with them. So there was a lot of disposable income that wasn't being used in New York. So now, if you notice, there's a lot of the senior living facilities popping up all all over the place.
Oh, you think that's how we counter that?
It's my guess. If
Well,
I
that
had to
makes
try to
sense.
throw
Give
something against the wall, I would think it is.
Give people an option. The taxes are lower. And,
Right, because
you know,
they're living in a facility. They don't have to worry about someone will come in and clean the place. There's someone that cooks
there
for
are
them.
so many 55 plus communities popping
There's
up.
a lot
It's all
more.
over the country. It's not
Yeah.
just here.
There's a lot more because you're keeping the people here. And even if they become snowbirds, where they're half year in Florida, half year somewhere else, and half year here, you're at least keeping some of their disposable income, and you're keeping the population going here.
Ask you this. So first time home buyer, they go on Zillow. Is that pretty much where people start looking?
They go on Zillow, Truly, a realtor. They go on my own site. They go on a number of sites, and they look and see what's out there.
But on a nationwide level, I mean, it's
on a nationwide level, you have the big players out there that are,
Truly,
Zillow, Truly. Zillow and Truly are actually the same company. They're owned by the same. They're the same company.
I did not know that.
Realtor.com. You got Homes.com. You got a bunch of these different players, and what they do is they try and find the home, or they try and find the perfect home. I like it better when we get together and do the intake, because again, they're looking for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath in particular town, and they're going to find 20 listings, but they didn't put in all the other parameters. They didn't put in their wish list. And when they do that,
put in there that they don't want to be backing up a major highway.
Yeah, I don't want to be on a corner house. A lot of people don't want a corner house. You get a lot more shoveling. You don't get as nice a backyard. You get 2 side yards sometimes.
Or I don't want to be behind a shopping center.
Exactly. So we are so well immersed in the communities around us that we know when things hit the market. When someone says, "I'm looking for this," "I'm not looking for this," we know exactly where we can bring them and show them, "Hey, you know what? I got the perfect home. It just came on the market a few days ago. Let me bring you there."
Do you ever deal with a seller who is not reasonable with the price? I think my house is worth X amount, and you're like, look at the comps, look what you have.
So
some people, my wife and I have bought a few houses in the past, and it's sometimes you're buying from somebody and they think they're sitting in a gold mine, and they're not motivated.
And that's fine. And you know what? We're there to again consult and educate people. The ultimate decision is always theirs, but we will guide them. And
will you ever walk away and say what you're asking us to do is going to result in being a flop?
Yeah, I don't. Well, yes, we have at times walked away and we said, it's not probably the right time for you to sell. Or maybe we're not the right people for you, because you get sellers that ask you to do things that we're not allowed to do and stuff like that, and we don't want that. We're very ethical and we're up on board. My parents again always taught us, when you do the right way, you never have to remember what you did.
It's hard to find good people, but Coldwell Banker got lucky and found you.
Yeah. The last few years have been a very, very robust seller's market, which means that again, if you're looking at what defines a seller's market versus a buyer's market, it talks about inventory, what's on the market. So if nothing else comes on the market, and in less than 6 months everything sells out, with your minor exceptions, that's a robust seller's market. The quicker, the more; the less, the less. And once you go over that 6-month mark, it becomes more of a buyer's market. So right now there's still low inventory, but a lot of buyers.
That's what I understand.
What's interesting is that like the seasons have also changed. Like everyone says, put your home on the market in the spring.
I meant to ask you about that. Does that matter anymore? Or is that like
does
old
matter.
school
It does matter. It's old school thinking. But
it does matter. Okay.
When it comes to the seasons, there is no off season in my mind. And okay, why is he saying that? Well, so who's looking now in October, November, December, January? It's the cold months. Well, the people that are looking right now are because they have to look. They're more focused buyers. There's less of them, but they're more focused. So they're more positioned to make a move right now and right then. Also around the holiday time, people getting that feeling that I want to make it, make a decision, and it gives them the opportunity. In the springtime, which actually was usually like March and April, now it's actually come back to like the end of February, beginning of March. You're one of many. You become one of many, and it's challenging, because if you're looking for a particular home, you're going to say, yeah, I found now 20 of them, but you're getting into bidding wars. If you're selling the home, you're one of many as well. Well, I thought I was going to be top of the market. I was going to be the big fish in a little pond. You're still in the pond, but you're not as big a fish as you would have been a few months ago. And and then you also have the people who seasonality, they want to get in before the new school year.
Sure. I'd imagine a springtime buyer is looking toward the following.
Right. But then you have sellers who say, well, I have my kids in school and I can't move till the school lets out. So it's a lot of, maneuvering and negotiating on both parts.
The buyer might be dependent on selling their
Right.
house. So
It's con- there are
sometimes the buyer
contingencies, right.
is also a seller because you're
Right.
buying your second home. So you've got to sell your first home, but then that person's dependent on their buyer
It's a
and their
domino
seller.
effect. It's a domino
And it's
effect.
and it just I wonder, that is just to keep the pressure to keep that going.
It's fine, but we do a lot of that. We do a lot of juggling because we have to, work it out where, people aren't homeless. We have to make sure that when they're selling their one home, that they're buying their next home within a day or so. And we work out if there's 5-day post possession where they could stay in their first home while they close in the second home, and then it gives them chance for the movers to get in there and do their thing. But there's a lot of massaging of everything to make it all come together the right way. So title insurance, we actually have a title company that is part of our company, but there are title insurance companies out there that the lawyers will do. They'll do what they call a title search. They want to make sure that everything is that the people selling the home are the people that are allowed to sell the home, that everything's in line, that that all things are in proper.
You're dealing with
the interest rates vary based on your credit and your history, and that's when you talk to a mortgage professional and they'll guide you as to what you're entitled to. There are multitudes of different programs out there now. You can get different types of loans.
The better your credit, the lower.
Yeah.
The lower.
I tell people all the time, if you have bad credit, clean it up, get it going, pay off the debt. Your debt to income ratio they take into account. How much you owe versus how much you earn. You want to make sure that that's all good. Now, we'd love for people to follow us. So it's Team Hirschhorn with 3 H's, as you said, 2 in the middle, 1 in the beginning. And
what's the best way to find? What's your website?
The website is being revamped, but it's teamhirschhorn.com.
That's HIRSCHHORN.
Right.
So it's the last name Hirsch and the last name Horn.
Right. Teamhirschhorn.com. But anybody that needs to reach out to me, we have 13 offices around Long Island. I'm most of the time in the Belmore, New York office, but we handle.
And you can certainly, if you reach out to me, I will certainly send you.
But
Peter's
way. Come on to the Instagram. We're having a lot of fun with that. We're putting out some cool stuff.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Let's